Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Fireside Chat with this lovely author, Fatou Pritt, and her latest book, Inspired Connections, where she talks about her chapter, The Magic Within. Fatou, I'm so excited to be doing this interview with you. What an honor. Welcome.
Thank you. It's such a joy and a pleasure to be in your presence and connect with you energetically and everyone else that's listening.
Yeah. To kick things off, I'm going to give you a bit of Fatou's bio. So here's what I know. Fatou is the founder of Flow to Bloom. She's a master geo love healer, dream porting practitioner in the art of dream porting, alchemy, constellation, and timeline shifting, and also a seed activator, quantum shifter, and hypnotherapist. She made the list of the top 10 industry leaders of 2022 in the Economic Journal and Health Daily. Fatou has hosted a spiritual retreat in Egypt and helped facilitate as a master healer, energy healer certification events, and manifestation retreats online and in various centers in the US. Born in Central Africa, she's had the opportunity to see all aspects of life that life can offer and has learned under the wings of some of the best master healers and mentors in the Northern Hemisphere. In her 3D world, she enjoys sparkles, traveling, books, and a glass of good champagne with friends. Who doesn't? But truly, what makes her heart sing is connecting to Mother Gaia and spirits from different dimensions and realms. Fatou is on a mission to empower all souls to find their energetic blueprint. Her personal challenge is to activate 1 billion souls before she leaves this dimension. Right now, in this dimension, Fatou is joining us from Ohio. She's 30 minutes from Cleveland. Fatou, tell me, my first question to you is what's bliss to you?
Mm. Bliss is actually truly for me being in the present moment, connecting to what I call the heart space. And if I can't easily find it, I literally put my hands on my heart and just listen to that heartbeat. And sometimes it immediately takes me back to when I was a child and I'm running, just spinning around and looking at the sky and feeling the earth moving. And it was just fascinating. And that's some of the things that I still like to do is walk barefoot in my house and enjoy just my feet kissing the ground and imagine the earth is kissing me back. Bliss is very simplistic. It's just feeling the breath going through my nose and breathing out, and I feel the hairs in my nose being tickled, and sometimes just like rubbing my skin, just being present with my physical body and making everything else around me kind of stop. That is bliss. That's the moment of just that present moment of truly honoring the presence of your divine being and being just in awe and on fascinated with how amazing and how great thou art, I call it. So that's bliss for me.
As you were describing that, I kind of saw myself in a way suspended in
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
right? And it's like those time just slowed down. Time as a concept, right?
Yes.
It disappeared, and you were observing yourself, your body, not in an
Mm.
outer body experience, but in an inner body experience.
Definitely. I love to really go inside the body because inside the body is every information, every piece of information that you seek. It's when you return to what people call the 0 point, your center, or your knowingness, whatever resonates with you, depending on what language you speak.
That's awesome. 0 point.
Yes.
The, where it all begins, the source,
Yes.
where it all
True.
begins. Love that.
Mhm.
We talked about your intuitive gifts just before we started this fireside chat. Tell us a little bit more about those intuitive gifts that you use and how do you leverage them in your day to day?
So I kind of want to start with everybody as intuition. It's that the pit in the stomach. Oh, you just knowingness. Sometimes this intuition is very strong. Sometimes you say, God's guiding me, my soul is guiding me, my spirit guides are guiding me. There's just an inner knowing and an inner presence within you. For me, I really feel into the activities. If I have a calendar of events I need to do, I really tune into, just like this meeting, what is the energy or the essence that I want to bring? I want to bring love because love is everybody's nature. And I am open to what love wants to pour through me, out of me, or around me. And the person that's in front of me, they are co creating with me. They're meant to be attached or present in this perfect moment in time because they could have been anywhere else, but they're here because it's divine synchronicities. And this is where the inspired connections kind of come in because you start creating and talking to the other person, and then things just start clicking and hooking up. It's such a beautiful process.
Indeed. Gosh. Oh, wow. I love how you describe the state that you're allowing
Mhm.
the energy and the force to come through, and you're channeling those intuitive gifts that you have
Yeah,
to help
because
you to react. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because everything is energy, and science does a good job with showing radio frequencies. Now we literally have collective consciousness on the palm of our hand in our cell phone. So when we are in that state where we're in flow, our heart feels expansive. We are hooking up in those frequencies with people, things, places. It's like magic is following you. And then when we're off that divine path, that's when we feel the contraction, the irritation. That's really beautiful as well, because then it makes you stop and you're like, huh, what is my guidance system telling me? What is the lesson? What's the blessing? And how do I make a decision from this from a high state? So it's kind of built in there to remind you Earth is a planet and a place where we have to experience a lot of things. There's a lot of variety here. And we get to choose and we all get to pick. And when we choose the perfect frequency for our existence, we meet people and we hook up with people that are just blessing us and expanding, and that just expands to the entire planet.
As I'm hearing you and listening to you, what I'm starting to realize is, and from reading your chapter, that there was a period in time that you did not have this awareness, but you had a feeling that this knowledge and this awareness is available.
Yes, and we all have a way that we grow up and we kind of step into this paradigm or what people call programming. I feel like it's also very essential. My life was pretty much regular mom of two beautiful, amazing kids that were both gymnasts. And I also worked. Sometimes I worked two jobs. I'm a single mom, and life was busy, was back to back. And there's just this suck it up and do it, suck it up and do it. We don't stop till we get done. That's where I come from. But that was coming from a lower level masculine and feminine energy. And when we go to work, we dare not even talk about the stress because it's just normal. You just suck it up and you serve. But there is something when your soul is really reaching out for the next version of yourself, things start happening. Questions start presenting themselves as thought forms. Either you read it in a magazine, either you see something and you're like, well, how do they get it done? So the minute you start asking that question from that space of curiosity and you truly want to know, answers start showing up. And sometimes this is what is really, really fascinating. When we pray, because I'm a huge prayer, or we set our intention, we're literally asking God to alter our reality, change it to bring us something we don't have. And the first evidence for some of us is something tragic or traumatic. And you're like, what is this going on? But it's also showing you that the old you has to kind of fade away and break away. So the new higher vibration and resonance can take place. And it's a process. And just because you ask for something better, it does not mean the lessons that you're meant to learn on earth will not happen. Those lessons might just show up in the next 24 hours and they're not taking 10 years. And that's how we jump into bending time and speeding up manifestations and altering our reality. because now we're tapping into the quantum field to pull that version of ourselves that is at the happy, blissful state.
That's gorgeous. Gosh, it's what you said back there, praying is a form of asking, it's a way of altering our reality.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
when we allow ourselves to tap into the curiosity of how others do it, when we allow ourselves to be open to the possibility that our reality can change,
Correct.
that's when the answers start showing up, and we may not readily recognize it. Would you agree? Like that can't be it. It can't be this, right?
Usually it's very like, no, I did not ask for this. This person ran into my car. Oh, my job fired me and let me go. My spouse or somebody left me, because those things are not in the frequency, the vibration, or the prayer that you sent out. If your prayer is to work from love and enjoyment, that means you're going to find a job that lights you up, that opens you up, that allows you to serve from a full cup. If your current job is depleting you but paying you to just survive and sustain, it's not long term sustainable for you. But when you step into this version of yourself that's ready to serve, that's ready to fully open up the heart and house the gifting that you have for this world, it's a beautiful thing, and the abundance just kind of flows. Everything just starts kind of flowing like a very well oiled machine.
Yeah. When you say you want change, the universe shows right up and cleans house.
Yes, it
It helps
really
you clean
does.
house, completely detox. And it can
Everything.
sometimes feel like the most shocking thing to ever go through, right? Maybe the end
Yes.
of a relationship.
And it's very shocking because now you're being asked out loud or internally to expand your ability to house higher vibrational energy.
Totally.
And the more we expand the container, the more we can house. And we have to release the old things to receive the new things.
You have to make the space.
Yes,
You
that's
have to
very
make the
important.
space. Yeah. Um, and one of the things that I learned in my career and my awareness was, we tend to give with both hands,
Hmm.
but we don't have the power, or we don't have the ability to know that we can also receive with both,
Yes, we seem to
right?
forget
We,
that.
or we clench a fist, and so we block the channels, the
Yes.
flow.
Mm.
And so when you're tight fisted like that, it's really hard. Love is a beautiful energy, like you said. And when
Yes.
love shows up, it creates a space to do so much more.
Yes. And everything that's really intended and created from a space of love, it does factor in everybody involved. So it really releases that notion of, oh, this is too good to be true, something bad ought to happen, because now you know that if I'm doing business, receiving a service, facilitating something for somebody, that person or the persons involved are all going to benefit from it. It's just a beautiful orchestration if you look at it from love. It doesn't come with the heaviness and the denseness of the desire or the intentions. You are fully made and designed to have all these beautiful things that you want. Because if
Yeah.
you didn't have the ability to house it, they would not be coming to you.
Indeed, indeed. If you didn't have the ability to house it, they wouldn't be coming to you.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So when we don't see, I'm guessing that going even further back in your timeline,
Hmm.
was there a moment when you felt that you weren't ready to receive? Was there resistance? Did resistance get in the way of your curiosity? How did you deal with that?
Always. So in the beginning, there's going to be resistance because you have not created enough evidence on this new frequency to build the faith that you need to know that God's got your back. So what I always tell people that I have the opportunity to serve is, let's get you to a high state. Let's change your state. Your story is very real. It happened. That's the story. Now let's get to a high point, high energy, and let's create the story of your future self. How does she feel? What habits, or he, how does he feel? What habits does this person have? And what decision do you need to make in this high point? Because when you're in that high state, the decision could be opening up your heart to allow others to serve you. Could be that simple, and it changes everything. It could be really making a decision to no longer participate in things that don't support your core values, like buying produce that's sustainable, that's good for the earth, buying clothing that's being made in a sustainable way and we're not using child labor, looking at things at an expansive, more global effect, because you're honoring the love aspect of you that's always in service to yourself and others.
Yeah. Gosh. Um, it's uncanny because I had a question as you were talking, and and in that moment you answered the question.
Mm.
For the benefit of everyone who can't read my mind, I'm going to ask the question. You know, I encounter people who are very logical, and when you ask
Mm-hmm.
them to tap into that what they feel is a creative space, it's too hard
Yeah.
because they are deeply rooted in the logic of how things work.
Yes.
And so there is also that resistance to wanting to create or visualize this future self. Like, I can't, it's too far ahead. I can't see it. I don't understand. I cannot compute. How do you help them? What advice would you have for them or insight?
Truly, and this was really coming out of the weekend that I was teaching a lesson, is how do we bridge the gap? There's exactly that. We have this mind, and it's all through the presence. So you got to be present and say, okay, I have this beautiful mind. It's in my body for a reason, because you're going to need your mind to navigate earth, to make decisions, to turn right, to turn left, to visually see if you can see, to sense, engage your brain to kind of sift through and make sense of your environment. So I would say slow down time, come back to the present moment. Again, that heart space, just start from your heart. And your mind can still be going, and just ask, who's orchestrating my heart to beat and pump oxygen, feed my muscles, run the lymphatic system? And what's running within my body to turn my apple into energy and to, allow the body to expel everything that it doesn't need? So if you can start very general in the beginning, you start seeing that there are faculties within your body that are designed for certain things. If you can visually see, it's because maybe, let's come back to ourselves. Maybe really just say, I want this house. I want a 7-bedroom house. Okay. Why do you want it? It's so hard to get you having all these things. But if you could just feel in the quantum field, where does this energy of my house exist? Right here. And you bring it in your heart space, just literally moving it. You don't have to understand how it's working, because if it's a desire, it's in your field, but it's outside your body. That's why you don't have it in your reality. When you bring it in your heart, one or two things will happen. Your heart will feel warm, fuzzy, excitement, and there is a part of your brain that has images and pictures. It will kick it on, because it will naturally activate that part of your brain. You will visually see, or you will sense, you will have a knowingness. If it's not meant for you, it's really going to feel like, oh my God, this is hard. I can't really house this. It won't even go into your heart space. That's a simple technique that I use, because then if you see that there's contraction, then you're like, but wait a minute. Why did I want a 7-bedroom house? I don't even have a cat. It's just me. What is the reason I'm desiring this? Oh, maybe I'm supposed to host retreats here. Oh, this makes sense. Or maybe I was making it out of because I heard so and so bought a house, or I want to impress my mom, my dad, I want to impress the community. And all you truly want is this beautiful house nestled in nature, a beautiful plant medicine garden, a natural water source. You can have butterflies and birds and really allow the critters to be in their home and coexist with them because you just have this ability to just love on animals and nature and you want to walk barefoot. So it's really just coming into allow the mind to really do what it does. And during some of the energy healing sessions that we do, your mind is not supposed to be quiet. If your mind wanders, allow it because your higher self, your subconscious, knows exactly what is needed. And for your mind to be busy, it's going to remove you from trying to control what's happening. So loving the mind and telling it, I love you. I really appreciate you. I'm so glad you're working beautifully and I've learned so many beautiful skills on earth. Let's connect to my heart because your heart is very magnetic. What is my heart saying about this idea? When I really feel into it, oh, that's okay. I kind of really don't want that. So now you're interacting with the universe, the information that's coming to you that's invisible, that's in this web of life going through. You're like, okay, so the 7 bedroom house is not a thing, but this house in the woods, why? Can I bring this into my heart? The air will be cleaner. You'll be able to grow your own fruits. You love your hands in the soil and you just love to sit and watch the sunset. The sound of water is very cooling to you, and you can have fresh water without any minerals to it. You can actually take a swim there. You can make like all these beautiful things that just light you up. You can actually show people how they can make sustainable gardens using fresh water. All these ideas that you really didn't think about will start coming in if that's what the planet needs right now to emerge out of you. Because each one of us does have a message for the planet in a very beautiful way.
Gosh, preach, because I'm right there with you, you know, in that beautiful house. I feel
Mhm.
it. You
Yeah.
know, what we think, you know, based off what I'm understanding from you, and I love how you described it. Based off what the world tells you, you will think you need to live in a big 7 bedroom house with a white picket fence.
Yeah.
But if you ask yourself, like, what is the intention? What is the
Hmm.
purpose? What is really the desire for having this? This is what society says success looks like. But what does it, how does it define success for you? And when you dig a little deeper, you realize, oh, actually, it's a space. It's a
Yes.
space for me to coexist with something else, for me to create. When you coexist, you co create,
Yes.
co experience. And
True.
this beautiful bounty of love, of everything delicious and joyful and blessed comes through.
Yes. And that's what we're really looking for as humans. We want the desire of the object, the person, the experience because of the emotional fulfillment it's going to bring us. And
So
so if
true.
we can tap into the emotions of the wish fulfilled, we can be in the presence and resonance of that desire. And just like magic, that wish is going to show up at your doorstep.
I love this phrase. I'm catching all your quotes. Tap into the emotions of the wish fulfilled. What we call in today's world manifesting, right?
Yes,
Manifestors.
manifesting.
Do you consider yourself a master manifester, Fatou?
Yes, and it's truly beautiful because it's really you're just one thought away from what it is that you want. But it's just fine tuning and just get I mean it you when you are riding that wave of your authentic natural self, you will feel like dancing. You will enjoy washing dishes. You will enjoy looking at your pets or the garden or the sun or driving. It's almost like you are just present in every interaction. Right now is the moment I need to be in. Right now is the moment for my great fortune. I let God juggle the rest. That's the party and that's the theme, and we are going to rock and roll with us.
There you go. There you go. I read in your chapter that there are, you know, there's so many questions I have here. I read in this your chapter about collapsing time.
Yes.
What is that about? I'm
S-
fascinated.
So collapsing time is really what I have. I've only been doing this work full time for about a year. September 2021 to 2022 was a year and some months. So I literally, through practice and through sitting and through really tuning into what is true for you only you can decide that. There's plenty for all of us to go around. So collapsing time is a technique that I learned to really clear in all your energy centers, your chakras, and being present and really going with the intention of what you want. I first started this experience with wanting a job 3 minutes from home. And this is a very fascinating story because I worked for a particular hospital and another hospital, it's a big hospital. They had a clinic about 8 minutes from me. And I'm just like driving every day, 40 minutes to work, praying for this. Try and show me how does this work. And out of nowhere, I am driving, and my hospital had the smallest sign, their signature, on another hospital, 3 minutes from my home. Now I was wanting the one 8 minutes from me, and I said, I don't know what's going on in there, but my hospital has something, a timeshare in there. I'm going to work there, is all I said. And I went on the board. So there is the inspired connection. Then you take the inspired action. I really wanted to see what job postings were for this location in my area. And Lord behold, there was one.
Wow.
And I applied for it. And they told me I was overqualified. They went with somebody else. And I went back. I said, no, this is my job. You have to show me this or show me where I went wrong with this in my meditation, in the highest good. Show me because I feel this is mine and I'm holding on to this faith. If not that position, then something else is opening because I know I'm going to be there. So there was just this inner knowingness. And I went back, the same job posted. So I messaged them. They're like, okay, you know what? The person we gave the job to, she had to move and relocate because her husband had something that's going on and they had to move. So the job is open. We can't pay you what you're asking for, but we can do a little bit. Is that okay? I was like, yes, taking it. And I literally took the job. And the good news was that a lot of things happened in there where I was qualified to actually not need training. And that's how I moved to the manager's job within 2 weeks. So it's a very, very exciting thing once you learn how to actually connect with your heart and God. Because if it is in the highest good of all, literally, and I give a technique where you hold your hands out in front of you,
Hmm.
but this is a tool that you have to use with divine love. Make sure your heart is in alignment. That when you access this, everybody will really, really benefit from it. And if it's not for you, something better will come in. You put all those emotions I was talking about. Having the job 3 minutes from home meant I can feed my kids before I left because I was a single mom. Remember, I'm still a single mom. I could feed my kids. I could come home for lunch.
Hmm.
I didn't have to drive far. Their school was 5 minutes from my job. If they were to be an emergency, I was
Wow.
very practical. I could be there in no time.
Yeah.
So that was the reason I wanted. I have these young souls that need a parent home. They need meals. At least that's how I wanted to raise my kids, was cook for them. So truly asking from that vantage point. And it also allowed me to not be in traffic for 40 minutes to and from. So I saved money. The abundance is coming in that way. So really you hold your hands out, you put there. So it's the job from near home, the beautiful meals, the feelings, the excitement, knowing that I'm always home early and I don't have to work weekends was really nice. And when you feel the energy between your hands, you literally just start bringing it. And the book does explain everything. When your hands touch each other, you bring that into your heart space and then you
That's a,
ground it.
that's an incredible technique. That's an incredible technique. Is there a way that people can work with you to do that with you?
Yes, people can find me through my website. They can book one-on-one sessions, and I do have group sessions, and they have quite a few things that I talk about with that, but definitely, yeah, sure. Anyone is welcome to come and join my collective container to work with me and work with all the beautiful souls. But seriously, when you read the chapter, it has the instructions and start practicing, because my goal for writing this collapse and embedding time is how do we effectively and safely connect you to your heart, but also loop you in a timeline that at least you can breathe and think and start allowing other ideas to start flowing through you.
It's gorgeous. That technique itself is gold. That
It
is
is.
gold.
It is.
I have one last question, two more questions to go.
Yeah.
I went to your website and I saw the three routes to healing. And I'm going to read this for our listeners. The three routes to healing is the first is you must let the pain visit you.
Mm-hmm.
The second, it says you must allow it to teach you.
Yes.
And the third, you must not allow it to overstay.
Correct.
Tell us about this quote. I'm sorry, I believe it's by Ilioma Omebinyu. I
Correct.
hope I got the name right. I'm sorry if I didn't.
Yeah, because why is it important to go in that sequence? It's because you're human and you chose Earth as a school. So there's certain things and lessons you have to learn with the Earth school. Those lessons actually teaches you a lot of things. So when that happened, that inception point we're talking about, it forces you to stop and really start digging into that pain, because you can start crying, but there's a point where the crying actually stops. Literally, you're just like, well, I'm tired of crying. And you're like, okay, maybe let me drink some water. That's not gonna last. And then now there's that cleared, because crying is a clearing. If crying is your thing, or the pain is gonna have to leave somehow. It's either gonna leave through tears, sweating, physical movement of your body, or it's gonna purge out of your body. We know through urine or the other way. So one way it's gonna, that energy has to leave. Then you're like, okay, now I know what to do because I did everything that brought me here. So now I know what not to do. Then you're like, what's the lesson? And truly, I expand on this. And this is where the beautiful prayer called Oponopono, I use it a lot. Sometimes it's easy for me to access, and we can send that to you guys. It's simply, I love you. You're saying I love you to the problem. Thank you so much for showing up. Why are we thinking it? Because now you know what happens when you do this. Please forgive me. You're forgiving yourself for not knowing better. Total forgiveness is really important. And then you say thank you because you've received the lesson. And in actual essence, you're saying, thank you for teaching me this lesson. It's safe for you to remove and release out of my body and my environment and return back to God, peace, where you find peace and you resonate at the level of peace and love. And once you clear that within you, that's you allowing the pain not to stay long enough with you. So now, once we remove that and we brought in the love, now you're on the frequency of love. So you've learned the lesson and you've really appreciated it. Now you're moving on to the next level of your evolution.
That is beautiful. Gosh, I'm learning so much from this interview. How do people connect with you? You know, we've shared the links on your websites, your quantum energy, and we've been sharing the links on the book that's coming out. Right, right. Our book is out today, 17th of March. Hooray!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So you can connect with me through Facebook, of course. There's also an Instagram. That's also that's the way you can find me, and you can also tune in and energetically find me. That's also another fun way to connect with me.
It's amazing. Tell us a bit about your quantum energy program. I'm really fascinated by it.
So quantum energy, I created it because my life started getting busy. I started getting some beautiful clients, and I was in these retreats facilitating some beautiful, energy healings. And people be like, I need you, I need you, I need you. I was like, God, there's gotta be a way that when people need something, it's readily available for them. We are in a digital age, and I'm sitting by a tree at a retreat center out in Colorado called the Heartland. And I just got this inspiration. You have to record this for people. So in the meantime, when they cannot access you, they can start tapping into the quantum field where their higher self, their God self, whatever resonates with you is perfectly there to meet you, to help you ease, smooth the stress, and remove anything that no longer belongs so you can now be able to breathe. So you can
Awesome.
just get to the island and be like, "Phew, okay, I'm alive. Wow. What next? Maybe let me ask some empowering questions." It's very powerful, it's very potent. It will literally change your reality because you're going to the quantum field and pulling the version of yourself that has that wish fulfilled we're talking about.
Beautiful. We could talk for hours.
Yes. This
We
is
could talk
true.
for hours. I hope to our listeners, as you're watching this on the today, the 17th of March, that you're feeling this calling within you, that you're feeling the shifts within you as you listen to Fatou talk about, the healing path, the healing routes. How do you shift from this logical mind to the spiritual side of you, the deep connection to love and the powers that exist around you? If you're looking for the shift in your mind, in your life, catch her links. Go talk to her. Go join her workshops. I feel this power and this pull for you, this invitation to create the change you want to see in your life. And Fatou, thank you so much for this honor for interviewing you. It's been an amazing chat that we've had.
Thank you for the gift of your presence. It was so beautiful to connect and really have this beautiful conversation with you. I love you very much. And for the listeners, I love you all too.
All the love. Thank you, everybody. Buy our book.